lowest, greatest, highest, I will come to Thee.
There are many things that frustrate us in our lives. For example, when we have something wrong with us and the doctor is having a hard time figuring it out, it can eat away at our sanity. When a doctor sends us to get tested for a fatal disease and we have to wait for days to find out the results, it's very frustrating because we want to know now. High school students have to go through this process as they try to get accepted into colleges. They send out their applications and then they have to wait for days, sometimes weeks, to get their response back to see if they have been accepted or not. I can give many more examples of how frustrating the delays of life can be, but there's no need because all of us have experienced delays. What is important is how we deal with such delays. Sometimes we allow the delays to worry us so much that we make ourselves miserable. Some tend to be on edge and will jump all over you for no reason because they are so tense. Others stay angry until the delay is over. Having to wait on things can bring out many bad emotions. While we may struggle with the frustrations of delays, one thing that can help us deal with the delays of life and not allow them to consume us is by remembering who we have on our side. Isaiah says in Isaiah 26 and verse 3, "You will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you, because he trusts in you. Trust in the Lord forever, for in Yah the Lord is everlasting strength." The next time we start feeling frustrated about a delay, remember that God is there for us. He can give us strength and peace as we put our trust in Him. Jesus said in John 16:33, "These things I have spoken to you, that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world." I know how frustrating it can be when we want results or answers right away, but there's no need for us to worry or allow ourselves to act out of frustration because we belong to the Lord. We can know that when we trust in Him and turn our frustrations over to Him, that He will make everything work out for the best. As Paul said in Romans 8 verse 28, "And we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are the called according to His purpose." This does not mean that we will get quick results. You can look at many examples from the Old Testament when the answer to prayer did not happen until several generations later. For example, it took several generations for God to raise Moses up to free His people. This delay was not a no from God, it was Him saying not yet. With our limited scope of things, we must put our trust in God's timing and realize that He will make the best thing happen even out of tragic situations. It is not always easy for us to accept this, but we must if we truly trust in God. When we have the proper faith in God, then we can be confident that our problems are in the hands of God. Even if the results we get are not what we want, we can know that God is there for us. Even if the results say we die at a young age, we can still rejoice knowing we will be with the Lord just a little bit sooner than most. As Paul said in Philippians 1 verse 23, "For I am hard pressed between the two, having a desire to part and to be with Christ, which is far better." Delays are a part of life, and so is bad news. But when we learn to put our trust in the Lord, it will help us to handle the delays of life with our heads held high and allow us to have the hope that we should have as Christians, even whenever we receive bad news. So let us strive each day to allow God to strengthen us and to help us through life's frustrations. When you really put things into perspective and realize that this life of ours is but a vapor in time, but eternity will be forever, it will help us to keep our focus on God. I love what Paul wrote in 2 Corinthians 4 and verse 16. "Therefore we do not lose heart, even though our outward man is perishing, yet the inward man is being renewed day by day. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, is working for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory." Let us keep these words close to our hearts as we deal with the delays of life. I want to close with the comforting words of Jesus in Matthew 11, verse 28. "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light.